Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are strapping in for a journey that really just leaps off the page. We received this complex stack of sources from a writer named Swapnil, all focusing on an ancient secret. And it's a quest so intense and geographically vast, it reads less like historical research and more like an epic cinematic thriller.
That's absolutely right. Our subject is a man named Aryan, and he's driven not by, simple curiosity, but by this relentless multi-continental pursuit.
A pursuit of what?
The
Exactly.
forgotten Egyptian pharaoh's secret to immortality, which is all symbolized by these elusive golden ashes. So our mission today is really to trace Aryan's path, a path dictated by the very heavy legacy of his grandfather, Dr. Vikramaditya, and the mysterious disappearance of his own father.
And what makes this narrative structure from Swapnil so compelling is how deliberately it layers history. This is so much more than a treasure hunt. It's a collision course where personal destiny just slams right into global antiquity.
It really is.
We're tracking a path that moves from the heat and dust of Cairo, across the Arabian Sea, to India's Rann of Kutch, and then it weaves through the ruins of the mighty Harappan civilization.
And the grandeur of the Nawabi Empire.
Exactly. All of it culminating in this single, surprising, philosophical realization at the very edge of the subcontinent.
And the documents we have outline 8 distinct, critical phases of this discovery. Each phase doesn't just, provide a clue. It unlocks a layer of cryptic riddles, and it reveals these deliberate, honestly startling connections between ancient civilizations that we often study in isolation.
Like Egypt and Harappa.
Egypt, the Harappan civilization, and then later, elements of the British colonial administration and even Lucknow's Nawabi culture. We have to understand not just where Aryan went, but why these specific places were chosen. Why were they the guardians of this secret?
Okay, let's unpack this journey. I think we have to start where the quest truly began, in the historical and sensory storm of Cairo.
The narrative anchors us there immediately. In a place of just profound energy and chaotic life, Cairo isn't just the starting point, It acts almost as a gatekeeper.
A gatekeeper, I like that.
Yeah.
The sources immerse you right away, don't they? That intense sensory description, the air thick with the spicy tang of cumin and cardamom, the smell of engine fumes and dust, and then this symphony of honking horns.
The chaotic symphony, for sure. And visually, you have this stunning blend of centuries-old mosques and crumbling facades right up against these modern, imposing skyscrapers.
So it's a city that's living in the past and the present at the same time.
Precisely. The perfect place for a forgotten secret to finally surface.
And it is here we meet Aryan. The sources, they paint this picture of a quiet intensity. He's tall, lean, but it's the non-physical things that really define him. He carries the weight of an unfinished family story.
You get that sense of emotional burden immediately.
You do. And especially the echo of his mother's warning, which seems to haunt him. Some legacies are chains.
That phrase is so crucial. It sets up the thematic conflict for the entire deep dive we're doing today. Is he pursuing his own destiny, or is he just fulfilling a mandate, a kind of obsession passed down through generations?
An obsession that started with his grandfather, Dr. Vikramaditya.
Yes, he was the true genesis of all of this. Vikramaditya wasn't just an archaeologist. He was consumed by this quest.
Yeah.
And it completely shaped Aryan's childhood.
I mean, can you imagine that atmosphere? Instead of bedtime stories, Aryan's surrounded by the rustle of these fragile ancient maps, these dense, heavily annotated journals just filled with cryptic symbols.
All fueled by his grandfather's almost manic energy. This wasn't healthy curiosity. This was a devotion that bordered on, religious fervor.
And the grandfather's conviction kind of serves as Aryan's internal monologue for the whole journey. He declared, "It's destiny, and destiny always has a price."
Which immediately warns us, and warns Aryan, that this pursuit is going to demand sacrifice. It moves the story beyond simple archaeology into the realm of a spiritual trial.
The catalyst, the physical object, appears in the grand, almost intimidating space of the Egyptian Museum.
Right. The sources describe it perfectly. It's cool inside, the noise from the street is dampened, and the air is heavy with the scent of incense and that musty aroma of millennia-old antiquities.
And these colossal statues of pharaohs, their unblinking eyes just seemingly tracking Aryan's every move.
And the object he finds is, on the surface, deceptively simple. An amulet. It's unremarkable at first glance, barely larger than his palm.
That contrast, massive museum, tiny artifact is so effective.
It is, but it possesses this undeniable, strange aura. And critically, the looping symbols etched onto its surface are identical to the complex designs that filled his grandfather's obsessive journals.
So here's where the actual mystery kicks into gear. The physical discovery is subtle. Aryan notices an imperceptible seam running along the edge of the amulet.
A seam hidden beneath centuries of grime. It's something only someone already primed by years of this obsession would ever even look for, let alone see.
He presses it, the casing clicks open, and inside, tucked away, is a folded piece of parchment.
And that's a remarkable moment in the narrative because it transforms the object from a mere antique into an active communicator. It's a container for a hidden map and the very first riddle.
Written in this confusing mix of familiar Egyptian and completely alien symbols.
The map's lines are described as being impossibly fresh, almost pulsing with a strange, faint energy. It suggests it hasn't just been waiting for centuries, it's been activated.
And the riddle itself is the first real directive, pushing him far, far beyond the Nile Valley, where the sun meets the salt and whispers old tales of rivers turned to dust and an empire's veiled trails.
Seek the golden flame where time stands still in the land of the ancients. Fate bends to will.
Wow, I mean, that's a huge geographical leap right there.
A massive one. And the riddle holds two key analytical points. First, rivers turn to dust is a very specific clue. It suggests the path leads to a civilization that was based around dried up or lost waterways.
Okay, that's interesting.
And second, the destination is the land of the ancients, which confirms the target is another highly influential deep history civilization completely outside of Egypt.
Exactly. But before Aryan can even begin to chart a course, to figure this all out, he gets this chilling confirmation that he is not on a solo quest. His phone buzzes.
An unknown number.
And a simple, blunt, terrifying message. You're not the first to try. Stop before it's too late.
And that is the moment. That is the moment the narrative shifts from this academic, historical hunt to immediate high-stakes danger.
It's no longer just about the past.
Not at all. This message confirms his grandfather's assertion. Destiny has a price, and that price might be lethal. The weight of that small amulet in his pocket is suddenly far, far heavier. Its presence is now a liability.
It's a clear signal that the past refuses to stay buried, and more importantly, that he is being actively monitored.
By powerful antagonistic forces. And so the final piece of wisdom from his grandfather is what guides the geographical transition, connecting these two seemingly disparate landscapes.
Right, he said. The sands of the desert are no different from the salt of the sea. They both hide treasures and whispers of what came before.
That's the key to the next phase. It's a beautifully constructed transition from Swapnil because the narrative immediately pivots from the Sahara's heat to the Rann of Kutch in Gujarat, India.
Following that very premise.
Exactly. This huge geographical leap from an Egyptian desert to Indian salt flats is central to the entire mystery. It suggests this forgotten pharaoh was perhaps part of a pre-existing monumental trade or philosophical network.
In the setting itself, the Rann of Kutch is described as absolutely surreal. It's a wonder, this endless white canvas, its salt-encrusted surface stretching out like a vast frozen desert.
A dry, ancient seabed. Under the relentless sun, the salt just gleams like snow, and the air is thick, not with dust, but with the sharp scent of sealing.
It's a place where the earth seems to have turned to stone, preserving the echoes of its past as a sea. But for Aryan, this location carries this immense personal gravity.
Right. This isn't just another clue on the map. This is where his father vanished.
Completing the loop between the ancient quest and his own desperate need for closure. He's there for the ashes, yes, but he's just as much there to understand what happened to his family.
And he's not going in blind. He has the last remnants of his father's obsession. A weathered photograph and an old map that specifically referenced Dolavira, the lost city of the Harappan civilization.
So his father had already made the Egyptian-Harappan connection?
He had. And it's here, amidst all that crystalline salt, that the next major breakthrough happens. Aryan discovers these large stones carved with the ancient traders' language.
We should probably pause and analyze that term, right? The source implies this isn't just random Harappan script.
No, it's something more specific, a lingua franca, a common tongue that was used by merchants and envoys to communicate across the vast trade routes that linked the Nile, Mesopotamia, and the Indus Valley.
Which confirms that the link between Egypt and Gujarat isn't a coincidence of history. It was a shared, intentional legacy, likely rooted in commerce and the exchange of ideas.
A shared legacy. And the symbols on these carved stones directly match the ones on the amulet from Cairo, creating this undeniable chain of evidence.
The second riddle emerges from these stones, confirming the next target.
It does. From the salt to the stones, the past speaks through forgotten hands. The king's path is drawn in lines where the river meets the sands. This pushes him toward Dolavira, which was situated at the historical confluence of ancient, powerful rivers, the Sindhu and the Saraswati.
And the mention of the Saraswati is key here. For listeners who might be unfamiliar, the Saraswati is often considered a mythological river, or perhaps more accurately, a great lost river.
One that turned to dust.
Exactly. Linking back perfectly to the very first riddle, it suggests the architects of the secret weren't just using geography, they were using mythology and history combined.
It's a very sophisticated narrative layering. And then we get this incredible high-drama moment immediately after the discovery. The atmosphere just changes violently.
A chill descends, the wind shifts.
And a sudden roaring storm of salt and sand just erupts. It's violent. And it carries this strange sense of sentience, as if the land itself is reacting to his intrusion.
But crucially, the storm isn't purely destructive, it's revelatory.
Right. As quickly as it arrives, it stops, leaving this eerie, profound stillness. And in that stillness, a heavy stone door is uncovered, completely adorned with symbols matching the trader's language. A secret gateway, intentionally hidden by the land.
The path leads directly into the established ruins of Dolavira, a thriving metropolis known for its advanced water management and urban planning from, 4,000 years ago?
Roughly, yes, during the height of the Herpan civilization. And it's here that Aryan encounters Maya, a local historian.
She's essential because she offers this grounded skepticism, but her curiosity about the artifacts connects her to Aryan's mission. She provides the critical historical context.
And she confirms that Aryan's grandfather, Dr. Mehta, was an early and often ridiculed proponent of the idea that Harappan and Egyptian cultures were not isolated silos. He saw them as linked together in a broader human narrative.
So he was suggesting a shared knowledge network.
A powerful one. Aryan argues that Dolavira, with its port access and its internal complexity, served as the ultimate crossroads for knowledge and commerce.
And the sources provide the physical proof for this theory. They locate a crucial artifact, a large, partially buried stone slab. This isn't just a piece of pottery.
Not at all. This slab shows unmistakable Harappan script, interwoven with mysterious geometric patterns, and most importantly, what appear to be deliberate Egyptian hieroglyphs. It's an intentional synthesis, not an accidental overlap.
This changes everything. It validates the entire premise of the quest. The secret wasn't taken from Egypt to India. It was a shared secret, potentially guarded by both empires.
Yes, but Maya injects this powerful note of caution, shifting the theme from academic pursuit to moral responsibility.
He warns him, some stories aren't meant to be discovered just for the sake of history. They demand to be understood, not just seen felt.
She's telling him that this truth carries immense weight, capable of changing the geopolitical and historical landscape. It's a challenge of humility.
So the quest stops being about discovery and starts being about comprehension and moral cost.
Exactly. And the third riddle, uncovered at Dolavira, a stone divides the waters, and through it, the treasure is freed, tells Aryan the key isn't material wealth, but knowledge itself. This propels them further into Rajasthan, toward the sentinel of the desert.
Which brings us to Jaisalmer. So we pivot from the ancient geometric city planning of Dolavira to this imposing desert fortress. It's described as a sentinel of time, rising like a forgotten titan of stone out of the vast Thar desert.
Now, the walls aren't just inert structures. The sources describe them as being alive, that they remember things.
This location serves as both a geographical marker and a deep emotional anchor, particularly for Maya.
Right, she accompanies Aryan, and the moment they step within those ancient gates, she feels this profound historical weight of the place. Jaisalmer isn't just a hideout, it's a guardian, built specifically to repel invaders and keep secrets locked away.
And this becomes intensely personal for Maya. She reveals that her own grandfather, a historian who was studying the secrets of the fort's construction, he was silenced.
The implication is clear. He discovered something too dangerous, something powerful forces wanted suppressed. Her grandfather's fate mirrors Aryan's father's disappearance, linking their individual burdens to this ancient quest.
She really drives the point home. Some treasures are more dangerous when they remain hidden. This isn't just about gold, it's about a kind of power that certain groups, political, colonial, whatever, cannot allow to surface.
Their search leads them deep into the fort's interior. The murals inside, which usually depict scenes of royal life, are interspersed with these cryptic symbols.
So they function as a map, but also a warning system.
Exactly. The murals guide them to this nondescript section of wall where Maya, using her knowledge of ancient architecture, finds a small, subtle indentation.
And inside the hidden compartment, they find the crucial artifact for this phase, a small, smooth, golden stone. It gleams faintly, pulsing with this low, strange energy.
Confirming its connection to the golden ashes they seek. But the moment Aryan reaches for it, the atmosphere turns violently antagonistic.
It's an immediate and visceral climax. The ground trembles, a deep hum reverberates through the stone, and the massive fortress begins to groan and crack.
The land, the architecture itself, is acting as the final violent guardian. It's rebelling against the intrusion. The message is crystal clear. The secret does not want to be found.
They're forced into this desperate, frantic escape, tumbling through these labyrinthine, collapsing corridors. It's total sensory overload, just a blur of dust, screaming stone, and the instinct for survival.
They barely make it out alive. It transforms the quest from a history hunt into a literal battle against the forces protecting the past, and the psychological impact is profound.
Maya tells Aryan some legacies are curses disguised as gifts. The golden stone is more than a key, it's a trigger. It confirms the threat is physical, immediate, and now the quest pivots again, away from the arid desert and into the complex political dampness of colonial Kolkata.
And Kolkata is a complete immersion in a different kind of historical weight. It's the legacy of the British Raj, characterized by political oppression and layered secrets. Aryan is seeking the crumbling colonial mansion that once belonged to a Major Alexander Lawrence, a significant figure of British power.
The building itself is described as being sentient, watching, remembering, and whispering secrets.
This shift is fascinating because it connects the ancient pharaoh's secret directly to colonial-era political intrigue. Here, Aryan's joined by Anjali, a historian and activist who is fiercely critical of the quest.
Her perspective is crucial for balancing Aryan's purely archaeological focus.
Absolutely. Anjali views the search for the treasure through a post-colonial lens. She sees the secret not as a historical footnote, but as a shadow of a past we cannot escape, and a dangerous symbol of the oppression the British fought so hard to control. For her, seeking this treasure risks reawakening historical injustices.
But Aryan finds a deep personal connection here too, tied to his own great-grandfather, Rajendra Pratap, a freedom fighter who vanished during a British crackdown in the early 1900s.
Right. Aryan suspects that this treasure hidden centuries earlier by an Indian king to protect it from foreign powers might hold the key not only to the golden ashes, but to Rajendra's fate.
So now we have this convergence of three different histories: the ancient Egyptian and Harappan secret, the Indian king's sacrifice, and the great-grandfather's political sacrifice against the Raj.
And the link between them is this cryptic letter from Major Lawrence, which Aryan painstakingly deciphers. It's a blend of Bengali script and English letters.
The cipher is so evocative, a chilling piece of poetry. In the stillness of the city's forgotten cry, the lion's symbol where secrets lie, beneath the crown of a ruler's might, 71 steps lead into the night.
The cipher confirms that Major Lawrence, representing the highest echelons of British administration, was acutely aware of the secret and was likely trying to exploit it.
This solidifies the narrative shift, doesn't it? The golden ashes are no longer merely relics. They are potentially sources of immense power that entire empires sought to control.
And this is immediately underlined by the growing danger. The sources make it clear that the quest has drawn unwelcome attention. Rumors of the treasure, perhaps fueled by those colonial records, have attracted local politicians and other dark forces.
People who seek power in the present, not history lessons from the past.
Precisely. As Aryan and Anjali approach the attic, the final destination in the mansion, a mysterious commanding figure steps out of the shadows. And this confrontation redefines the stakes.
The figure delivers the ultimate warning, confirming all of Anjali's fears about the contemporary danger.
What you seek is not a relic, it is a weapon, and those who seek it seldom survive.
That is the pivotal realization for the listener. We've moved from academic study in Cairo through geographical discovery in Gujarat, and now into high-stakes political conflict in Kolkata. The quest is truly dangerous because the secret holds immediate present-day relevance.
And this pushes Aryan out of that political intrigue and toward the cultural heart of the Nawabi rule in Lucknow.
From the oppressive structures of colonial Kolkata, we transition to Lucknow, a setting of exquisite, mourned decay. The atmosphere shifts entirely. It's scented with jasmine and the subtle decay of vanished grandeur.
The Nawabi estate Aryan seeks is now crumbling ruins, a physical representation of betrayal and lost elegance.
The sources emphasize that the quiet stillness of Lucknow allows Aryan to achieve a new level of reflection. He finds an old wooden chest, its hinges groaning, containing these fragile manuscripts detailing a long-dead king's final act.
And this is where the core philosophical shift really begins. The manuscripts reveal the king chose to bury his legacy not due to material greed or fear of seizure.
But as an ultimate act of preservation.
Yes, against internal betrayal and moral corruption within his own court. He saved the secret by removing it from the hands of the morally bankrupt.
That detail is paramount. Aryan finds this deep kinship with this king. He realizes his family legacy, the obsession that cost his father and grandfather so much, was driven by seeking something physical.
But the king's sacrifice was about endurance, the survival of an idea, and the transcendence of material wealth. The secret is only safe if it is never exploited.
This realization starts to redefine what the golden ashes actually represent. They are a symbol of wisdom and purity, hidden not from enemies, but from those who would corrupt them.
And the manuscripts provide the fourth riddle, which points toward the next location, Delhi, but carries a deeper spiritual instruction.
In the river's flow, the past is sown. Where moon's kiss turns the water to stone. Seek the stillness beyond what's known, for the key lies in shadows overthrown.
That instruction, seek the stillness, is a clear directive to look inward, not just outward. It suggests the answer is philosophical, not physical.
And as he reflects on this, he has this ethereal encounter that solidifies the supernatural guidance of his quest. An elderly man, described simply as a keeper of stories, appears soundlessly in the ruins.
His presence is powerful, his eyes sharp and knowing. He seems to be part of the long-term protection of this knowledge.
And he challenges Aryan directly, questioning his moral readiness to proceed. He asks, "The king's tale is not an easy one to bear. Are you prepared to carry its weight?"
This is the ultimate test, isn't it? Is Aryan seeking the secret for selfish reasons, to finish his family's chain, their curse, or for humble understanding? The keeper of stories confirms that the true treasure is truth. Not gold, not power, but wisdom.
This encounter guides Aryan to the hidden tunnels beneath Delhi, a city that has witnessed the rise and fall of countless empires, where the past never truly fades.
The map inside the chest points directly to these ancient tunnels, beneath the bustling modern chaos of Delhi. The sources describe the tunnels not as mere infrastructure, but as the final burial ground of a dangerous secret.
A silent witness to the forgotten struggles of history.
The sensory shift as Aryan descends is immediate and powerful. The modern clamor just vanishes, replaced by a tune. The air becomes cold, suffocating, thick with damp earth and rust, and yet intangibly heavy.
It feels like the very atmosphere is bearing the weight of centuries of history and sacrifice.
And the silence itself is described as oppressive, a living stillness, watchful and absolute. The walls are covered in this frenzy of symbols, serpents intertwined with celestial bodies, the stern faces of forgotten gods. These are the record of a pact forged in blood to guard the ultimate secret.
Finally, he stumbles into the climax chamber. It's shimmering with an ethereal glow, the culmination of the entire architectural and historical puzzle. The walls are covered in a breathtaking synthesis of Sanskrit, Harappan hieroglyphs, and unknown scripts.
A visual representation of all the civilizations they have tracked.
And at the center sits this enormous gilded chest. The source calls it a keeper of memory. The moment Aryan touches it, the full weight of the past just crashes into him.
He's overwhelmed by these terrifying, vivid visions. Battles fought beneath blood-red skies, the profound sorrow of the king's betrayal, the pact forged in blood to hide the ashes.
The realization hits him with physical force. The king didn't bury his legacy just to protect it from the British or external powers. He buried it to protect humanity from the catastrophic power it contained should it fall into morally compromised hands.
And once again, the earth rebels. A deep, ominous groan rumbles through the stone. The tunnel begins to collapse violently. The tunnels are sentient, angry, determined to push him out, reinforcing the idea that this knowledge is too dangerous for the physical world to contain.
It's a frantic, near-death escape. But just as he squeezes through the collapse, he sees the final clue on the wall, illuminated by an eerie glow that seems to defy the darkness.
In the place where the earth meets the sea, the ashes will remain forever untouchable.
Untouchable. That single word is key. It directly challenges the entire premise of the quest to seize the secret. This inscription points him directly toward the southernmost tip of India, Kanyakumari.
The physical journey is almost complete, but the moral and spiritual transformation is just beginning. The final riddle urges him to find the ultimate convergence. And here is where the narrative shifts entirely from action and suspense to to profound, quiet revelation.
Kanyakumari is described as a place where the world itself seems to pause, a sacred intersection of the natural and the divine. This isn't just a destination, it's a temple built by geography.
It is more than a point on a map. It's the sacred confluence where the three great oceans meet. This point holds deep mythological significance. It represents the meeting of three powerful, distinct forces: the Bay of Bengal, the Arabian Sea, and the Indian Ocean.
And the sources reveal that this natural convergence reflects a convergence of philosophical wisdom.
That's right. The Bay of Bengal is traditionally associated with Saraswati, embodying knowledge and wisdom. The Arabian Sea is linked to Lord Shiva, symbolizing strength and transformation. And the Indian Ocean represents Parvati, the source of tranquility and peace.
So this convergence perfectly mirrors Aryan's inner turmoil. His life has been tumultuous, shaped by the storms of his family's obsession and the sorrow of his father's vanishing.
Standing here, he feels the clarity of wisdom, the strength for transformation, and the final possibility of tranquility, all converging within him. He is finally ready to surrender the burden of the legacy.
Following the final clue, Aryan descends towards a hidden cavern, naturally concealed by a cascade of vines, a space designed for sanctity and seclusion.
Inside, the visual details from Swapnil's account are stunning. The cavern is illuminated by bioluminescent stalactites, and the pool at the center reflects the three distinct colors of the converging seas above.
And the object of the quest is finally visible. At the center, on a pedestal, sits an urn of pure gold, pulsing with an ethereal light. The entire quest, the journey from Cairo to the edge of the continent across vast empires, 2 continents, and 4,000 years of history, has been for this one physical object.
But the moment he reaches for it, the final crucial barrier appears. An invisible, powerful force pushes him back. It's a profound, non-physical resistance. He is physically, morally, and spiritually prevented from claiming the ashes.
And the ultimate lesson is delivered not by a collapse or a guardian, but by a voice that resonates deep within his mind, the collective wisdom of the centuries of preservation. The words echo: to take is to destroy, to understand is to honor.
And that is the moment of transcendence. The profound realization crashes over Aryan. The quest was never about ownership, control, or material treasure. The golden ashes were not relics to be seized. They were symbols of pure transformation, humility, and the eternal cycle of existence.
The king's sacrifice wasn't to hide wealth. It was to preserve a sacred truth from corruption.
Exactly. And in response to Aryan's acceptance, his quiet surrender of the need to possess the ashes, the urn vanishes. The light fades, but the knowledge remains. He achieves inner peace, understanding that the true reward was not in the ashes themselves, but in the journey that purified him of his familial chains.
His burden is finally transformed into wisdom. The obsessive, dangerous legacy of his grandfather is neutralized by this ultimate knowledge. To understand is to transcend.
Which connects back perfectly to the king's decision in Lucknow to choose preservation over greed, and Maya's warning in Dolavira that some stories demand to be understood, not just discovered.
What an extraordinary, emotionally charged quest. This narrative structure from Swapnil takes the basic premise of a treasure hunt and just elevates it into a deep spiritual awakening. The adventure was merely the vehicle for the transformation of the hero.
The source material gives us a powerful analytical framework, the pursuit of ancient knowledge derived from deep multi-continental exploration from the pharaohs of Egypt to the city planners of Harappa and the political shadows of colonial India, culminates not in physical conquest, but in profound philosophical wisdom.
The true treasure was the reconciliation Aryan achieved, transforming a heavy family burden into personal peace.
We have seen that ancient secrets are not just buried in the ground. They are inextricably linked to personal histories and moral choices, waiting to be understood rather than seized. The question is never what is hidden, but why it was hidden, and what moral cost its retrieval will require.
This raises an important question for you, the listener, based on Aryan's final realization in Kanyakumari. We all carry hidden legacies, expectations, burdens, or truths that feel like chains.
So what truth are you holding on to that needs to be understood and honored rather than seized or controlled? What sacrifice of pride or expectation would be required to finally achieve that living stillness and transcend the burden? Think about that.